Did that about 6 days a week for 40 some years. Now, since I've been sick, I kind of do jobs that nobody else would do. We have to make this power steering unit fit on this engine. This engine is a Corvette engine from a late model Corvette, and this is about a 1970 Sunbird. One of the things he needs power steering so he can steer it, and it's been deemed impossible, so I'm gonna try it. On a Wednesday, I played 5 sets of really hard tennis. On Thursday, I got up and I had a very severe backache. And then pretty soon my leg didn't work just right, and I thought, oh my God, I've had a stroke. The fingers on the other hand were getting fuzzy, and this leg was not working very well. And the first thing I told the doctor, I said, you know, I've just had enough medical to be dangerous here, but I don't think a stroke hits both sides. And he says, definitely not. All the time this was happening, I was losing control of my hands, my arms, my legs. By Saturday night, I had to walk with a walker. I couldn't walk by myself. And I made a comment to the doctor and to my brother and to Mary Lynn, and my brother still remembers this. I told the doctor, I said, if this keeps up, I'll be paralyzed tomorrow. Well, when tomorrow came, I could not move at all. I had to be carried on a litter up to the MRI test. Finally, I heard the doctor behind me say, I know what it is. And he came around in front of me because I couldn't turn around, so he had to come around and face me. He says, I know what it is. We need to give you a spinal tap. He says, I think you have Guillain Barré. And I'd never heard of that before. The doctor explains to me that I'm going to continue to get worse for probably a week. And then I'll hit bottom and then I'll start back up. And that's exactly what happened. I had to go on life support for about 6 weeks, thereabouts. And that involved a trach and a vent tube, and just laying there, not able to move anything but my eyeballs. And then as I began to slowly get a little bit better, they moved me over to Sparrow Hospital, and I stayed at Sparrow until they could take the vent and the trach out. And at this point, they told me I had to choose a rehab hospital. I couldn't go home yet. So my brother's a big computer guy, and he got on the computer and he started looking at rehab hospitals, and we finally narrowed it down to a hospital that I'd never heard of before, named Mary Free Bed. In our research, we began to find out that way back when I was a kid, and infantile paralysis was a big deal. Mary Free Bed was a pioneer in the use of the iron lung. So we picked Mary Free Bed. Of the 2 years that I've been in this situation, that's probably the best decision I ever made. You have to have the hope before you can have any of the rest. And they are big on hope.
Very nice.
Okay, so Tatiana, we're going to lead up with the stronger leg.
One step at a time. Right.
One step at a time.
Perfect. You remember how much space used to be there, so that's good. You're growing, yay! Ta-da!
And I saw these miracles. I mean, these miracles were just going on. So I thought, you know, I'm just gonna get in line and let my miracle come. And it did, and it did. Once I got to Mary Free Bed, I really felt I was getting somewhere. Automatically felt part of the family. I mean, every nurse on that ward, male and female, just fell all over me. I mean, unbelievable. I went through the physical therapy, I went through the occupational therapy, I went through everything that they had to give me. I had the best there was. I don't think there's any better people anywhere. I was trained on a wheelchair by a dedicated man named Glenn from Mary Free Bed. He taught me how to do everything on a wheelchair. They worked on my upper body. I can boost myself around anywhere I want to go. I've got the strength up here. They instilled in me to keep up that desire to keep fighting. Mow this piece in here, and I use a commercial walk behind 50-inch cut mower, and rather than ride on it, I walk behind it, and that gives me exercise for my legs. Once I stood up in the wheelchair, then it was just a progress. I'd try to lean over on a piece of furniture. Finally, we got the walker out there, and I could slide over to the walker, and then I could start to move on the walker. And I just practiced walking up and down that hallway, and I finally got to where I didn't have to grab onto anything, I could just touch. I am playing tennis now. I taught myself how to run. It's very difficult to justify being on earth if you're a taker and you don't have anything to give. So they put me in a position now where I could give again. I'm very active in the American Legion and the VFW. I can now participate in these things, so now I can give some things back. The word hope, we come back to that word hope, that's probably the biggest. That's the biggest thing. I think they could eliminate all the other and just write hope up there. That's what it is.